You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
You know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's TG. Tonight, got kind of a shorter show for you, but we got a show for you. So if you just watched Scoop over there, you're probably about to hear some of the same stuff. I'm part of the Scoop message board. Shout out over there, man. They bring a lot of good stuff. But first off, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate you guys showing up every night. TG, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Dev. It's been a good day. How about you, sir?
Good. It's been a long day for me. Started off raining and then nothing crazy happened, but nothing went right today. Those type of days when
Yeah,
you
it be
wake
one of
up and
them days.
when you wake up and it's raining, that's normally in my experience how it goes, but I'm trying to change that. When I wake up and see it's raining, I literally said, "Oh, today's going to be a great day," but I didn't trick myself good enough because I still knew in the back of my mind it's raining and it normally doesn't end good when it rains. But whatever, man, whatever.
It
We're
always
still the
happens.
national champs, whether it rains or not. Ohio State still took home the Natty trophy, so that's some good news.
Yep, that's
But yeah,
actually the best news.
so on to some winter workout stuff that we got going on. We've been bringing you guys some information here and there about, what we're hearing from some of these recruits. So we're going to go over that, kind of a list of guys that are really stepping up in there. And then also talk about, what players we think what new players we think can actually come in here and make an impact and get on the field and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about the offensive analyst that got added, to the coaching staff not too long ago. Not much to talk about on him, and I'll tell you why when we get there. But I want to start off with one of the receivers that we heard about. And again, shout out Scoop over there on the Scoop board. If you watch the Scoop show, Kirk in Nevada killed it talking about this. But Phillip Bell is a receiver that Ohio State really, really likes. He's one of these receivers that I don't know when, but he used to be ranked the number one wide receiver, and that quickly got changed for some reason. But if you go watch his film, first off, Brian Hartline recruited him. So the dude's got to be a good wide receiver to be recruited by Ohio State and then to actually accept his offer. So big, strong, physical, mature player. Love the route running, love the way that he focuses on the ball when it's in the air, different things like that. So they're loving him inside the Woody. He's a lot higher up on Ohio State's list than any other list in the country. Brian Hartline loves him. That's all I need to know. Any thoughts, TG, on Phillip Bell?
Hey, look, I know we were gonna have some freshmen coming in, pretty much making some noise. I mean, I've heard a lot about Devin Sanchez. Phillip Bell was the newest one I heard, and I said, you know what? It's not shocking to me because Brian Hartline so good at getting talent like this, so good at identifying great talent. So when you have these
Yeah.
guys showing out, it's no different than what we heard about Mylan Graham last year. Because remember, Mylan was showing out as a freshman. So I think this is going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see what Mylan does as a sophomore this year, and I can't wait to see what Phillip Bell does next year because I don't think he's going to get any playing time. But from if he's everything they say, you
Yeah.
get to see him next year, and that wide receiver room going to be on another level, baby.
Yeah. I always find it funny you know, how it is in this industry and how even my mind works, right? When you get a recruit that 5-star recruit, highly ranked recruit, got a bunch of news, a lot of people talking about him, he makes a bunch of drama. right, against his recruitment, you tend to follow them a little bit closer and you tend to get a little more excited if they commit to your school. But if you have that recruit that stays quiet, doesn't really play games, doesn't really, switch back and forth and do interviews and put pictures of him wearing different clothing to get fan bases up in a roar and whatnot, and they end up committing, they almost go under the radar. So you see why kids are doing that this year, because you know what I mean? The more drama that they get in their recruitment, the more they're talked about. But I don't like kids like that on the football team that I root for personally. I like them being about their business, strictly about their business. And that's Philip Bell. And he's not being talked about much. And there's several other players on this list in Ohio State's 2025 class that are just like that. And I am hands down thoroughly convinced that Ohio State signed the best class in the nation. And I can go down through each recruit and tell you why that is. Go back and watch the tape, man. Phenomenal players. But the next one is one of those 5 stars. Got a lot of attention, but not because of the things that I said. He just straight up did it on the field, right? And did the 7-on-7 tournaments, and he's just about his business. That's cornerback Devin Sanchez, man. We've talked about him before. This is like the 3rd time his name's been brought up as far as winter workouts go. He's just elite at what he does. He has the potential to be the Jeremiah Smith of this class in terms of a freshman that can come in and make an instant impact. Really liking what I'm hearing so far, really liking what I'm seeing, because just because you're a 5-star, just because everybody talks about you like that, doesn't mean you can show up to Ohio State at the college level and actually make an impact. It takes a special, mature, focused person to come in and make an impact as a freshman. Skill alone will not get you there. It will not. Skill alone will not get you on the field at Ohio State. You got to know the playbook. You got to stay focused. You got to be on time. You got to be able to accept correction. You got to be able to compete. You have to go from being everywhere you walked in your hometown, everybody, you were the center of attention. Every game you played in, the center of attention. You have to go from that to pretty much not really being talked about that much, because you got Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and Julian Sayin on your team. So you go from all this attention to not much. It takes a special person, and I believe Devin Sanchez is one of those special people. His parents are absolutely amazing people. He was raised the right way. So I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And like I said, you got to have that to make an impact. Physical skills alone are not going to get you there. They're just not going to. Thoughts on Devin Sanchez?
I'm not shocked. I'm really not. This honestly, with all the stuff I was hearing about him when he first with the winter workout started, it wasn't shocking to me. It really wasn't. So if he's gonna be the next Jeremiah Smith of the defensive backs, ooh baby, this is gonna be fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what he does. On top of the fact that let me see here. What was my next train of thought? Oh yeah, on top of the fact that I hear the fact that Devin Sanchez, like what you said about these recruits being all about their business. That's everybody on this team. I mean, did you hear, like, they just now talking about the story of Carnell turning down $1 million to stay at Ohio State, saying he believes Scarden LeGray. I was just now watching something regarding that. And I said, That's what I love about guys like that. That's why I also don't believe Chris Henry Jr. will flip, because I think these guys are all about business. They don't care about the money. The money will come when they earn it. Yeah. They're all about earning it. These are the type of guys I want at Ohio State. Like, I know everybody harped on Justin Fry for not landing big time recruits, understandably so. But when this story came out about why he missed on David Sanders Jr., where it was really David Sanders Jr. trying to get more money, and Ohio State basically told him, go kick rocks, because they don't give a damn how good you are. They don't care that you're a 5-star. Like, the way Ohio State approaches it is, they've seen this with 5 stars before. They don't care what you did in high school. Like, it's part of why they brought you here. It's part of why they brought you here. But when you come to college, it's a different level of it's a different level of just game entirely, and it's getting you ready for the NFL more so because that's what college football started becoming, a feeder system for the NFL. So
Yeah.
you have to be ready.
Yeah. Just a little.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I thought you were done.
No, I was just gonna say that if you're gonna come to Ohio State, you got to earn everything. That's what I love about Ryan Day and what the culture he's built here, because these are the type of guys I want, 100%. And if Devin becomes the next JJ, we got a future ahead of us for sure, especially for the next 4 years.
Amen. A little bit off topic. We are a little bit late on today's show. We were late because we were waiting on Sean. Sean was supposed to join us, we thought anyway, but I'm just messing with you, Sean. I looked back and I asked you to be on the night show, but he didn't respond. So just had to give him a hard time. Sean, you don't have to rush around and try to get on here, bro. I was giving you a hard time, but you're more than welcome to join us. You brought up Chris Henry Jr., and I got to bring this up. Everybody knows that I'm about to drop a pre-recorded video, I believe, on all my little evidence that I have to show that On3 and their recruiting service is an absolute joke, man. And they despise Ohio State. You know a video they dropped the other day? Did you know they dropped a video talking about Chris Henry Jr. deleting pictures of Ohio State off of his social media? Have you ever heard of a recruiting service to ever drop a video about a teenager deleting or posting pictures on their social media page? I'll answer that for you because I watch every single recruiting video. No, you don't. Absolute clown show over there. That just cracks me up, man. They're just so desperate for clicks. They literally said, man, I really want to talk about I really want to talk about something I saw the other day when I got on Chris Henry Jr.'s X account. He's deleting pictures. Now, he still has the commitment graphic up, but he's been deleting some Ohio State pictures on his social media. It just cracks me up, man, that these dudes are talking about teenagers' social media accounts on their professional recruiting channel that they have. It just absolutely cracks me up.
Dude,
man.
Are you shocked? Let me be real. I mean, On3's talking about Oregon and building a dynasty when they ain't even won anything. And then talking about Michigan with their recruiting. And it's like, okay, are you guys slow? Do you not understand that the only reason kids are going there is for the money? Like, for instance, they talk about flipping Bryce Underwood, and it's like, you guys are aware it's the NIL money that got him to flip because he's hated Michigan since he was in middle school. Seriously, did anybody know that Bryce Underwood has hated Michigan since middle school? He only went there for the money because once stuff hits the fan, he's out of there. That there's no if, ands, buts about it.
You got big time, not really big time, or they are big time. They got big time names, but if you really love football and you pay attention to some of these guys' takes that they have on certain teams and players, you no longer follow them because their takes are ridiculous. You got big time names saying that Scum is going to be the third best team in college football next year. They're saying that. I got news for all Scum fans. I'm not gonna troll and say that Bryce Underwood isn't going to be there or anything. But Bryce Underwood is not going to start at Scum next year. He's not going to do it. It's not going to happen. He's not going to be on the field starting. And you guys are all acting like building your team around this player that's not even going to start. But I went off on a little tangent there. Got to reel it back in. On3 has just been getting under my skin here lately with they report what they want to report, the details they want to report. And please, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. In the chat, do you pay attention to On3? Do you not get the same feeling that On3 despises Ohio State? And let me make something very clear. I'm not talking about Letterman Row On3. I like those guys over there. I'm subscribed to their page. I follow them. I read their stuff. I don't mind them over there. You guys know who I'm talking about. The guys that get up there and do their videos, their national recruiting videos, man, it's just so obvious to me that they despise Ohio State, and they're making it too obvious, dude. They seriously are. Like, I promise you, I got a list 9 miles long that will make them look like fools if they ever try to say, "Oh no, we're not biased against Ohio State," dude, I have receipts for days that prove like them putting up players top 3 schools when really they have top 4 schools. They've said it in their interview. They've said it to me. But
Mhm.
On 3 are the reports that they got a top 3 and Ohio State is not one of them. So
You know, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think it's any different than what we see like ESPN and some of the other news stations
that's
do.
not. You're right.
It's not
Yeah,
like
you're right.
you know as well as I do. They do this to get clicks out of Ohio State fans. We both know this because what's the most popular brand in all of college football? Ohio
Yeah.
State. What's the premier
Yeah.
program? Ohio State. You talk about them and you get under their fan skin. What happens? You're gonna get views. You're gonna get clicks.
But that's the thing. That's the opposite for me. I don't get that. I don't understand that. I don't click on that stuff. When I
do.
when I see a thing that says, you know what I mean, Chris Henry Jr. flipping and it says On 3 beside it, I don't click on it. The only reason I know about this video I'm talking about is because I was scrolling through the X shorts, right? I know everybody gets caught up doing that, man. I gotta stop that. And that was a short that got brought up. So then I went back and I was like, oh, dude, this is such a joke. But
Look,
I
I
totally
listened
get
to
it.
it.
A lot
I
of
listened
people
to it.
do like clicking. You know, if you say Ohio State projected to be the 10th best team in the college next year, and Ohio State fans clicking on it to see how ignorant they sound.
Yeah, that's the thing though. That's why they do that. And here's the thing: as I do click on it On 3 just because I want to see I just want to hear their stupidity just to make myself laugh. And guess what? You know the Oregon fans. Somebody had brought it up that they're still talking. I don't know why when you ain't done nothing. On top of the fact that too, again with Chris Henry, it wasn't the fact he just deleted. Like he didn't take. He took like Ohio State kind of like off his bio, which is something I did see on the video, which I'm trying to figure out why do we keep talking about this? Like y'all just do this to get a rise out of Ohio State fans. Again, I watch it just for the fun of it. And more importantly, it's also a great way for me to make videos because I do have my own like little intent here to make a pre-recorded video of Kyle McCord versus Will Howard because this started becoming a discussion because NFL draft boards have come out with Kyle McCord over Will Howard, which I'm still trying to. Again, it's not shocking to me because you got stupid people and stupid NFL people. It's just not shocking, and I could always do something like that just to break it down for people. But
people these days, you got to be careful what you click on, man, and what you read. So moving on, man, we're going to talk about Tavian St. Clair. We all know about him. There was some conversation about wondering if this dude's going to come in and start and where he's going to fall in the depth chart. You know, interesting conversation. I'm not there at all. I don't think it's going to happen. You do not want to put a quarterback on the field too early. This is Ohio State. You know, the who he played in high school, and you can say this about every high schooler, but even him to a bigger degree than most actually is not anywhere close to the level of, you know, players that you're going to see at Ohio State. And it takes some time, man, to develop properly, to learn the playbook, to learn what defenses do and all that time. But Tavian St. Clair is really close with Billy Fessler. We heard what Will Howard said about Billy Fessler. We've heard what Ryan Day said about Billy Fessler. So the fact that they're close and Tavian is learning from Billy Fessler, and he had some conversations with Chip Kelly as well, got to meet him briefly, and Ryan Day. Physically, the dude is an elite quarterback in terms of physical attributes to move in the pocket, to see over the line, to throw over the line, arm strength, the whole 9 yards. So excited to see his future here, no doubt.
Yeah, I am too. I don't think. First of all, I think he's going to be the third string quarterback. I don't think there's any if, ands, or buts about it because he's got some learning to do at Ohio State. He just does. It takes time to learn how to play quarterback here. You got to learn the system. You got to learn what you need to do. It's better for you to just sit and wait. Like unless you're a generational star, you can't really start at Ohio State. Like again, we talk about it. We talk about it with Jeremiah Smith. He started as a freshman because he's generational. You just can't keep that guy off the field. Tavian, I think, will be one of the great quarterbacks in Ohio State. I have a tier 1 to tier 5 type quarterbacks in Ohio State. I think Tavian has the potential to be a tier 1 quarterback in Ohio State. I do.
Yeah, he definitely has the potential. You know, I think when it comes to the quarterback discussion, everybody knows, my opinion about the Lincoln Kienholz, Julian Sayin thing. I think that a lot of people aren't giving him enough credit, but that's just kind of how I feel. Lincoln's been around a long time. He came in a little bit later, to the thing. So we'll see where he's at as far as development goes. TG, do you keep putting all these comments up on the screen?
Any good comment? Yeah, any good comments I see, I'm going to put it on the screen.
It distracts me when I start talking. I keep trying to put them down and you keep putting them back up.
Yeah, it's just me basically. Like any good comments I see, like this one.
Yeah,
about,
I see you. Yeah,
Sayin.
you clicking on a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I love, Julian Sayin, Lincoln Kienholz. I trust Ryan Day in the decision that he makes. Next player, Riley Pettijohn. Talked about him a bunch, man. Just elite, focused, man. Very focused, very good head on his shoulders. And you think about who his dad is and the level that his dad played at. He had a pretty good role model in terms of learning the intricacy of football. I can guarantee you that Riley was ahead of most in terms of he had a father that could sit down and break down offenses and defenses with you, and you can learn those things. So he's coming in with the physical attributes to potentially get in the rotation this year. Your thoughts on Riley Pettijohn?
Well, my thoughts on Riley Pettijohn is the fact that I'm excited for this linebacker room. Like, I hear all about Peyton Pierce and how well he's been doing. I'm excited to see Arvell Reese on the field. Like, I think he's gonna be a stud, like Ted Glenn said. I think he's gonna be a stud. And when you hear all this stuff about Riley Pettijohn, I'm like, okay, this is making me doubly excited about the linebacker room. I'm like, James Laurinaitis is bringing back linebacker U. He's basically getting the linebackers to perform back to where they were beforehand. Something we haven't had in a while. It's not to say the linebacker play has been poor, but Ohio State standards hadn't been living up to it. So, again, I think he's bringing it back, and I cannot wait to see what this guy looks like on the field. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited about the linebacker room this year. Some service recently released a top 100 returning players in college football. And I'm going to do, I think me and TG are going to do a short pre-recorded video on that. Sonny Styles was not on that list, which was an absolute travesty, I think. But I'm excited about Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese. And then you add Riley Pettijohn to it and Tarvos Alford, some young guys coming in. You got Arvell Reese, Peyton Pierce, the whole 9 yards. So I'm excited where that's headed. Next player I want to talk about, Ethan Onianwa. TG, can you say his last name?
Ethan Oniawa.
Onianwa.
Oniawa. Okay.
Onianwa.
Yawa. I keep thinking, because I'm telling you, there's two ways people say it. Oniawa and then the way you just said it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But give me your breakdown of Ethan. Have you watched a lot of his film? Do you know about him as a player?
Yeah, I've seen enough of his film from his beginning all the way to where he was at Rice. And I said, this is a great pick about Ohio State. Mm-hmm. This is, thank you, Justin Fry, before you left. Thank you. Because this guy really is a dude. I'm telling you, he's going to be really, really great at Ohio State. I think he's going to be turned into a first-round pick again, which will be great for Ohio State. If you're telling us we get Joshua Simmons, a first-round pick, Donnie Jackson, and then we get Ethan Oniawa. Because the whole reason he came here is because he feels like Ohio State can bring more out of him than what he did at Rice. So I'm excited for this guy. The one thing he needs to do, lose some weight, for starters.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things that's being talked about inside the Woody is when he came here, he came from Rice, okay? Nothing against Rice, but the resources that they have available to their players to get them ready to play at this level, excuse me, is nowhere near the resources that Ohio State has. So, they were talking about he came in without a diet plan. He came in without a real solid workout routine specifically towards being an offensive lineman. So with Mick and his plan that he has for him, they're talking about the one thing that he does have going for him is his strength. They're talking about over there on Scoop. I read the article that they wrote. They said he's country strong, got that country boy strength in him where he just is an absolute tank. And you go back and watch some of his films about his weightlifting and stuff like that. He is a very, very strong individual, and supposedly had a second round draft grade this year by a certain service, which is wild that we have, a second round offensive tackle already in our room. That's gonna get even better, because look at every transfer that's ever came through Ohio State on the offensive line. Well, not everyone, but most of them have gotten way better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see what we can do with a tackle. I wanted to talk about, moving on, a couple other players. I'm just going to list them, TG, and I want to get your thoughts on whether you want to add some to that list or take some away, but not including the ones that I already listed in this 5. The new players that I think can make an impact, either transfers or coming in the 25 class. I got CJ Donaldson, the running back. I got the other freshman linebacker, Tarvos Alford. I got Max Clare, the tight end, obviously. And I got Quincy Porter, the other one, obviously. And when you look at our defensive line room, I think we got a lot of sleepers in this recruiting class. And you saw Edric Houston come in as a freshman and make an impact, a pretty big impact, I might add, a bigger impact than I think we really recognize as a fan base. When you watch his snap counts, they increased the higher the competition got, the bigger meaning games. I mean, in the Natty game, I think he played 11 snaps, and, in the Texas game, like 14, and the Oregon game, like 18. And so his snap count kept going up. But we're a little light on defensive end, and you got Epi and Zion Grady. I think Epi has a beautiful, bright future here at Ohio State, but I think Zion Grady has the potential to come in and make some moves in that room. I think it just all depends on how he responds and how his body responds to, the weight training and the diet that he gets put on. If the dude can come in and put on 20, 25 pounds, get up to about 250 pounds as a defensive end, he's got the skills, the physical skills to do it. And if he can grasp the mental aspect of it as well, he could potentially get on the field. We're pretty light at defensive end. And then my other one, Jarquez Carter, man, I just love watching his film. I listened to, we interviewed that dude here on Buckeye Boys. He's obsessed with the gym. And when I hear a football player say they're absolutely obsessed with the gym, watch out, man. They got a work ethic, and they'll do whatever it takes to get on the field. Your thoughts on any of those players, TG?
Well, I think CJ Donaldson, I think he's going to make an impact on the team. I get that some people may underrate him because of where he was at West Virginia, and basically has some of the same issues as Travion Henderson when it came to staying healthy. But you got to realize, like Travion, when you get beat into a pulp so much, it wears on your body as a running back. So, and when I look at him, I've seen some of Quinshawn and some of Bijan Robinson. Now, whether people know this or not, him and Bijan are the same size. They're both not fast, but they have great acceleration. The thing that makes CJ Donaldson stick out to me is he's super physical. Like he's damn near Quinshawn physical, because I see the stiff arms and they are nasty. I do think that Epi, I think he's got a great future at Ohio State. Like you said, he's going to get a lot of great development here. He just be patient. I think he'll do great. Zion Grady, I think, will make an impact at some point. Now, if it's not this year, it'll be probably next year, because I know he's going to be great as well. Tarvis Alford, like I said, like Riley, he's great. He's talented. He is something else. Like I said, I'm super happy with Laurinaitis right now with his linebacker room. Same with Eli Lee, as a matter of fact, too. Like I hear good stuff about him, so it's like you got to be excited about that linebacker room as a whole. There's none you can say. And then Mello just brought up James Peoples, which, hey, like him, I'm excited about James Peoples too, because they compare him to Quinshawn a lot.
On that note, I want to ask you, how do you think the running back snap counts are going to go next year? Do you have an outright starter in your mind, or do you think it's going to look more like the snap count we saw this year? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to look more like the snap counts this year. mostly because it worked the first time, and we don't want to beat our running backs into a pulp, and it's going to be a long season. So that's why. And I think who's going to start off first, I think, will be James, then Donaldson, and then you'll see like what happened with Quinshawn and Trevion, where they would flip in between who starts and who doesn't. Like you've had Quinshawn start some games, and then Trey comes in, or Trey starts some games, and then Quinshawn comes in. Like that's how I think it'll be. Except I also think we'll probably get Sam Williams-Dixon involved. And for some people who are kind of upset or kind of wondering why did Ohio State bring him back, because if you think that they may have missed on some of our freshman running backs, no, they brought him back for depth. They need depth, because if I gotta remind everybody, 2022 we lost our whole running back room. Like injuries is a real thing with our running backs, people. So I do think that the running back room will look just like it did last year, except I think you're gonna see Sam Williams-Dixon get a little bit more reps than James People did last year, just because you couldn't take Trey or Quinshawn off the field. But that's how I think it'll line up. Is it's gonna be like last year, except the third running back is gonna get a little bit more run here than when used to.
Yeah, I think the rotation will be a little bit more even. Man, I love it. There's aspects. I almost said I love the offseason. That would have been the biggest lie I think I've ever said in my life. But there's aspects of this thing that is exciting, and that is hearing about players that you don't really expect. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know the Jeremiah Smiths. We all know the Caleb Downs. But you know who we don't know about, really? We've never seen. When I say don't know about them, we've not seen them on the field. The Bryce Wests, the Aaron Scotts, the Peyton Pierces, the Tywone Malones and Jason Moores. Like, dude, in the off season, man, these players can radically change their bodies. They can radically change their mindsets. They can come in and look like an entirely new player. I mean, Cody Simon was on the team for how long? Then he comes in this year and has one of the best linebacker years in Ohio State history. You know what I'm saying? Like, just absolutely comes in and dominates the field and becomes a leader on this team. So I love those, like, kind of surprise players, and I love getting to hear about them, when they first come in the program and see what they are. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I actually can't wait to see Bryce and Aaron, because we did kind of see them in the Tennessee game, and they showed you a little something that they could be something, because those dudes will be, as Emily said, great. And Terry, thank you for bringing up TC Caffrey, because I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, that's a question I had, because I didn't know if he was going to be back this year or not. Because I'm telling you right now, before TC Caffrey tore his ACL, they were talking about him being the third running back last year. Like, they were excited about him. Like, people were talking about that. So, chat, do we know TC Caffrey? Does he have any eligibility left? Is he coming back? What's the deal with him? I assume he would have eligibility, but
I think
I would like to find out. Yeah, but I got some more homework for the chat. We know Ryan Day hired a bunch of analysts on the offensive line and had to hire, new coaches, new DC, the whole 9 yards. Well, he hired another one not too long ago, an offensive analyst. Okay, so he is back. Okay. I like that.
Thanks, Mello.
Colin Canoe, an offensive analyst. I need help finding some information on this coach, because I challenge you. Go type his name in Google and tell me what you find. I'll tell you what I found. Dude, unless there's somebody that looks just like him and plays. This dude played at Akron as a defensive back in 2021. In 2022. So I don't know if that's right or not, but I do know this next part's right. He was the wide receivers coach at Western Illinois for about 3 weeks. Before that, he was the wide receivers coach and quarterback coach at Nevada, the University of Nevada. So interesting. I read a couple articles talking about him being a big time up and coming wide receiver coach. That would make sense. Ryan Day's hiring him. And then we got this question that still isn't answered with Brian Hartline's going to offensive coordinator. Is he still the wide receivers coach? I mean, that's I don't see how that's possible for him to still have complete control over the wide receiver room in terms of making the offensive calls during the game and also handing wide receiver rotations during the game. I don't think that's possible. So, you know, I don't know, but interesting, man. Colin Canoe. If it's the same one, man, the dude is a very young coach. Not too long ago was on the field playing some college ball. So please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong and let me know. I don't see anybody in the chat that knows anything about him, but wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on the new analyst. TG, your thoughts?
I said it before. I said, because we talked about it before the show started, this might be a trial run to see if someone can run the receiver room so Brian Hartline can just focus on calling the offense. Now, I think Brian Hartline will pretty much be like Ryan Day, where Ryan Day may be the head coach, still has his hand in the quarterback room. Brian Hartline may be the OC, he's still going to have his hand in the wide receiver room and how the wide receivers should be trained. So this could be a start to where you see Brian Hartline kind of moving away from being the receiver coach, being full on OC, and you're seeing this new guy taking over the wide receiving room. So that way, you know, and again, it's going to be a trial one to see, can he do that? Because if he can do that, hey, well, you basically got your coach right there.
Well, we still have Hartline's assistant wide receiver coach from last year. What's his name?
I forget.
Who's the I know Mello knows his name. Chat. Who's the guy that helped dude, I was just reading about him.
Yeah, I was too. That's why I say it's either gonna be him or this guy.
But yeah, I think it's him. And then obviously you just want, Devin Jordan. You just want some help. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
You just want some help in that wide receiver room. So Ryan Day went out and got a young coach that can come in, you know, and learn a thing or two. So it's exciting to see him gather in a pretty dynamic coaching staff. I love it, man. It's him doing his Saban moves. So
love it. Because not only was Saban doing this, but so was Urban too. Because remember, we at Ohio State have a history of doing this where we just hire coaches that no one ever heard of. No one. They come here. Now you know of them.
Yep. I love it. Well, chat, that's going to do it for us tonight. We got a couple guests coming on. I am going to tell you guys about one right now. Nate Roberts. The tight end, the 2025 class. We're going to have him on this show. We're also going to get his mom on here and interview them and ask them some questions. So I'm super excited about that, man. I love getting to know these players more on a personal level, letting you guys get to interact with them and see them and get to know who you guys are going to be going psycho over for the next 4 years and possibly talking crap on over the next 4 years. So be careful, man. It's hard for me, dude, because I've met and talked to so many of these recruits now. And I know that some of them are probably going to be on the field next year and whatnot. And I know some of the thoughts that I've had as a football fan about certain players being like, dang, man, you got to step it up. And now I have that connection where I've interviewed people. I've got to know them as people. So always remember that, right? When you're watching these games, man, it's entertaining for us. And it's a game to watch for us, but it's real life. It's real life for these players. It's real life for these coaches. Like, it's actually real. It's not the Madden game. It's not the NCAA game. You know, when we say these things and act a certain way, we're saying it about real people that have real lives. I didn't mean to go super serious on you there. You know, I'm still going to have my thoughts and opinions on certain things, but that just hit me the other day as well. So, TG, you got any final thoughts? Any final comments?
Yeah, well, also I'll promote both myself and Sean will be having Kangaroo Black come on for an interview as well, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
You are?
Yeah, me and Sean. He told me on the. Oh, you didn't. Oh, dude, you didn't see the show because he talked about it on the show about us having Kangaroo Black come on. Because he literally was in one of Kangaroo Black's shows and he asked him to come on the show and he said he right on, he'll do it. So he's coming on the show to get an interview.
Yep, he's going to be on. I was in his chat the other day talking to him as well, and he's excited to get on our show and talk to us. He's got some fun shows. Go over there and check him out, man. So like I said, we got a bunch of interviews coming up for you. I like to get a lot of these recruits on. Chad, I've asked you this before, but every time we interview recruits, and I don't care about this, but I'm just curious. I want to make sure that our main watchers enjoy it. They don't get a lot of views in terms of overall on YouTube. Like my Evan Goodwin interview that I didn't get a crazy amount of views, but I just want to make sure the people that always watch this, so that are in the chat right now, you guys enjoy those interviews, right? You would like to see more of them. I want to make sure you do. I thoroughly enjoy it. I know the rest of us here at the Buckeye Boys, we love doing interviews and getting to know these kids and hearing some backstories instead of always just reading about them, reading what other people type about them and what they say about them. Love that firsthand information of hearing from them their self. You know what I mean? So you can actually get to know who the person is. And then that way, when you do read something about them, you can kind of discern a little better whether it's true or not. Be like, no, man, I heard that dude on Buckeye Boys. He's not that type of guy that's going to say one thing and go do another thing and all these other things. So cool. Good. I'm seeing you guys do enjoy it. So Mellow, dude, you can't vote on this, bro. You're part of the Buckeye Boys. We have to say we like it. No, I'm just joking, bro. All right, chat. Listen, love you guys. Sorry for the shorter show, but is what it is sometimes, man. Keep a lookout for our other shows. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment below, share this on your X, your Twitter, the whole 9 yards. Stay tuned for TG and Sean show on Thursday. Get prepared for that. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.